This is question number 5 on homework 6 for module 6. So we are provided with a part of the balance sheet about property, plant, and equipment. If you look at the questions, part A is compute the PPE turnover for 2007. We are provided also with the sales. And pay attention to the rounding requirement. Round your answer to 2 decimal places. So let me first copy the provided information to Excel and paste the special text. And the PPE turnover is defined to be sales. If you go back to my next slides, right? Sales divided by the average level of net PPE. So in this case, sales net PPE for the 2 years are provided. And then we just need to divide the sales, which is 8,897, divided by the average. They use the average function in Excel. Average, and then these two numbers. So then we just need to follow the rounding requirement. Round your answer to 2 decimal places. So change the format and for number and just keep 2 decimal places. So this gives me 2.98. So part B, Everett and Sternert reported depreciation expense of $412 million in 2007. Estimate the useful life on average for its depreciable PPE assets. Round your answer to 2 decimal places. So the average useful life is defined to be the average depreciable asset cost. So this means the sort of initial cost the firm incurred in order to acquire the asset, and that divided by depreciation expense. Depreciation expense is directly provided here. So we just need to figure out the depreciable asset cost for each year, and then we take the average of those 2 years, and then we divide that by the depreciation expense. So then how do we get the depreciable cost, asset cost? So the depreciable asset cost is PPE at cost. So this means that how much the firm paid in order to acquire those PPE assets. PPE at cost less land and construction in progress. So land and construction in progress, they are not depreciable. So that's why we need to get rid of these 2 types of assets. And this is just in very general terms. In this specific question, actually, if you check the, let me check that in my Excel sheet. If you check the items here, you see the land is here. Let me mark that in yellow. And we have the buildings and improvements, machinery and equipment. These 2 are depreciable. And capitalize the interest, obviously this is also not depreciable, right? It's an interest payment. And construction in progress is not depreciable. So eventually, actually, we are only left with these 2 types of assets which are depreciable, which means that the depreciable cost, asset cost, is simply the sum of these 2 assets. So let me write that. This is simply the sum of these 2 assets. This is one way to get that number. So this equals this plus this. And then we can pull the cell to the other year and automatically calculate the other year. So this is one way. So let me put that one. And I can also use another way, like similar to the formula provided in this in the next slides, to get the same number, which is, see that PPE at cost. So this means the gross PPE at gross, which is land, building, and equipment gross. So this number, and then we just need to deduct the land, because land is not depreciable, and deduct the capitalized interest and construction in progress. So you see that these two numbers agree with each other. And now if you put the cell to the other years, you also see that this will give you the same number. So now we know the depreciable asset cost, right? Depreciable asset cost. And then we just need to take the average useful life is simply the average of this depreciable asset cost, and then divided by the depreciation, annual depreciation expense, which is 412. So that gives me a number, but we just need to follow the rounding requirement. Round your answer to 2 decimal places. So this might be a result of rounding the answer to no decimal places or 0 decimal place. So I just need to check the format and make sure that this is 2 decimal places. And indeed, the more precise value of this number is 19.30. Just put 19.30 here. And part C, by what percentage are VAT and Sternerd assets used up at year end 2007? So the assets being used up is basically the original depreciable asset cost. That's how much the firm paid in acquiring that asset, divided by so it's the other way around actually. It's accumulated depreciation divided by the original asset cost, depreciable asset cost. So if you check my next slides, and that's also on the slides. So it's accumulated depreciation divided by average depreciable asset cost. So in this case, it's called asset percent, right? Percent use up. So this is accumulated depreciation for this year and divided by the average level of the depreciable asset cost. These numbers. So again, this is 1. That's because I guess it doesn't round to first this needs to be in percentage terms, and then we keep 2 decimal places. So it's 74.31. So now let's check my answers. All right, so we got all these 3 answers, all 3 parts correct.